Hello everyone, it's Meg and today I'm going to be doing my first book haul of 2021. A new year is not complete without a book haul, and technically this is kind of like mainly a Christmas book haul or like the end of 2020 book haul. I actually didn't, most of these are actually Christmas presents. There are only around 4 books on this list that I bought myself and the rest were very kindly gifted to me by my friends and family over Christmas. But I just wanted to do a super chilled video today where I just sit down with you guys, talk about some books that I have acquired over the past couple of months, and to just, I feel like it's just a nice video to bring in the new year, a nice chill video. I love filming these videos, I love watching these videos, and I hope you will enjoy this video as well. So I have 12 books to talk to you guys about, which I feel like is a fairly decent amount, definitely smaller than my previous book hauls, and I intend to keep my book hauls that way at least for the foreseeable future. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So I'm going to go through the books that I got myself first, and the first 2 books I bought like on their own separately. I did mention them I believe in my last book haul, but I hadn't received them when I was filming the book haul, but I will talk to you guys about them now. And the first one that I have is This Winter by Alice Oseman, which is a solitaire novella, and I've already read this book. This was my Christmas read for this year, and it is basically about Tori and Charlie's family during Christmas on Christmas Day. It is only like 100 pages long, and it is to do with like family dynamics and Charlie dealing with his eating disorder around Christmas time. And it's just such a wholesome book that really also packs a punch, only in 100 pages. I adore Alice Oseman, you guys should know that by now. I've read nearly all of her works apart from Solitaire, and I love Charlie and Tori. I think they're such great characters, and you get to see Nick in here as well. And I love that this book also has like illustrations and bits of like comic in it, and also this book is split into 3 sections, so each section is the Christmas Day from the perspective of the spring siblings, and I just really love that. And yes, I'm very glad that I got this copy. It came a lot later than expected because Waterstones were having some issues with like the limited signed stickers if you had a signed copy, but I didn't mind. It's here now. I read it in time for Christmas and I adored it. And then the second book that I bought for myself is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I have never read a V.E. Schwab book before, and obviously this book was everywhere when it came out, and on the lead up to it everybody was talking about it. Everybody was loving it, so I decided to get it with a voucher that I got for my birthday, and I did start reading it, but I put it down. I've not DNF'd it, but I have put it down for the time being because I was reading it when I was in a reading slump and I wasn't in the right frame of mind to read it, and also I feel like it's quite a slow book, or at least the first half of it is. So I put it down. I will definitely pick it up at some point. Not sure when, but my mum read it and she really enjoyed it, and like I said, I've heard so many good things about this book. I did enjoy the writing style of what I've read so far. It was very, very beautiful, and like I said, I've never really been interested in any other of V.E. Schwab's books, whether it's her young adult or her adult. The stories don't personally appeal to me. This one does, and I'm very excited to eventually get to it when I'm in the mood to pick it up again. The next 2 books that I have here are both from the Book Box Club December box, and I do have a unboxing video for that box if you want to go and check it out. I will leave it in the description. I really enjoyed that box, as always with all the Book Box Club's boxes, but we got 2 books in the December box. We got our main book and then we got an ARC. So the ARC that I got is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney, and this is a YA contemporary kind of rom-com, kind of coming of age story, and I don't know whether this is a debut author or not, but this book is basically made for fans of To All the Boys I Loved Before and Sun Is Also a Star. And I've read To All the Boys I Loved Before, absolutely loved it. Haven't read The Sun Is Also a Star. But this book definitely intrigues me. From what I gather from the synopsis, it's kind of about this girl who is obsessed with making lists. She makes lists about everything, and she kind of has her like diary that she writes them all in. And one day her diary goes missing and somebody has found it and basically blackmails her to do certain things on these lists, otherwise her whole diary is going to be exposed to the world, I believe. That's kind of the synopsis that I got from it, but obviously this is kind of like to do with, it's a romance as well, but I feel like it's also a coming of age story about our main character stepping outside of her box and kind of exposing herself to new things and being a bit more adventurous. It seems really fun. I really enjoyed the last arc that I got from Book Box Club. It was one of my favourite books of last year, so I'm very much looking forward to giving this a go and seeing what I think. And it also comes out on the 4th of May. And then the second book I got in the subscription box is Paris by Starlight by Robert Dinsdale. I've never heard of this author or this book, but this book sounds wonderful. It's meant to be for fans of like Erin Morgenstern and for Neil Gaiman. Nearly forgot his name yet. And I don't really know how to describe this book to you guys. It's kind of, I don't know whether it's historical fiction or not, but it's about Paris, and I feel like it's kind of magical realism to a certain extent. And it's about these people who escape to Paris, and it's kind of like Paris becomes like this illuminated city in like these illuminated flowers that are powered by stardust or something. I can't even describe to you, you'd have to read the synopsis, but it sounds brilliant. It sounds something that is right up my alley, but kind of out of my comfort zone at the same time. But honestly, I've read the prologue to this and I really enjoyed it, and I feel like it's just going to be a very lovely, whimsical story, and I'm very, very excited to get to this. This is definitely going to be one that I'm going to try and get to in the next couple of months. And then the rest of the books that I have are very kindly gifted to me by my friends and family for Christmas, which I'm very, very thankful for. So I will share what those are now. And the first two books that I have here were very kindly gifted to me by my friend Kira from Kira Foster. So again, I've already said this to you, Kira, but again, thank you again if you are watching this for these books. And the first book that she got me is The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I know Kira really loves this novel and it's something she likes to read around Christmas. I definitely love this novel as well. I read it, or reread it for the first time, should I say, in a good like 5-6 years last year for the mental health-a-thon. And I read my sister's copy because I do not have my own copy until now. And it's a story I definitely see myself rereading throughout the years, throughout my life, and I would really wanted to have a physical copy so then I could annotate it, because there's a lot of quotes in here and stuff that I would love to kind of tab. So now I have my own copy to do that, so when I eventually reread this again, I will definitely be tabbing it and annotating it and making it my own. And then the second book that Kira got me is the Stylisty by Erin Morgenstern. Again, this is a book that was very popular when it came out. I've heard mixed things on it, but I am very curious about it, and I know Kira is also very curious about this book as well. And I can't even really tell you what it's about, because like with all of Erin's books, or say all, she's only written 2, because I read The Night Circus and I really enjoyed it, but I feel like Erin's books are the sort of books that you don't really know you don't know what you're going to get into until you start reading the book. And I don't know, I'm just so intrigued. Like, I did enjoy The Night Circus, and I want to see what the second book is all about, and I feel like it's going to be very whimsical, and I love how intricate Erin's storylines are, and like the world building and everything, how much thought and detail has gone into it. It's amazing, and her writing is beautiful, so I'm very intrigued to give this one a go at some point and see what I think. I don't know which kind of line I'm going to land on, because I know that, like I said, there's a lot of mixed opinions on it, but I'm still very excited to read it, and hopefully I will love it just as much as The Night Circus. The next 2 books that I got were very kindly gifted to me by my wonderful friend Em from A Little Red M. So again, Em, thank you so much for gifting me these books. And the first book that she got me is The Ringmasters Daughter by Carly Chabowski, and I'm currently reading this right now. It's probably been featured in a couple of my Vlogmas videos and a couple of other vlogs before this video goes up, and I'm just over halfway through. I am really enjoying this. Em read an arc of this last year and she really enjoyed it, so she thought I might like it as well when she saw it on my wish list. And this book is set in 1940 in France during World War II, and it's basically about our main character. I don't know if it's Michael or Michelle. I think it's Michelle. Sorry if I'm not getting that right. But basically our main character lives in Paris and he stows away on a train to get away from the Germans who are invading Paris, and the train ends up being for a circus, and he ends up getting a job with this circus, a travelling circus, and it's a romance, and I've just really enjoyed this book so far. I really enjoy the characters. It's very whimsical, like the first half of it, like the descriptions of like the French countryside and the little villages, and like the relationships between all of the performers in the circus is just really lovely. It's getting definitely a lot more serious now, as World War II like novels aren't generally something that I go for. It's not an era that I'm personally interested in reading about, but I am enjoying this so far and I am definitely looking forward to continuing with it. And then the second book that got me is Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This specifically is the 2019 film edition. As you can see, it has the little motion picture thing on. I will take that off actually, and then you guys can see it, because I'm sure most of you have seen this book, but it's like the one from the film, like that Joe has made at the end of the film, which is why I wanted it. And it also has pictures in black and white from the film in it as well, which is just absolutely wonderful. That's kind of why I wanted it so much, but it's just gorgeous. And I had no interest in reading this book, like many people, until the most recent film adaptation came out, because I grew up watching one of the older adaptations and I didn't like it, so I was never personally interested in reading the book. But now I am, and I know that Em also has read this book and she adored it. I know Kira read it as well and she also really loved it. And I'm just so excited to dive into this book and see what I think. Jo is definitely a character I relate to a lot, and I just love the March sisters. They're just wonderful, and yeah, I'm definitely going to be like hopefully annotating and tabbing this book up. I really hope I love it as much as the film. This might be one of the next books that I read after my current read, but yeah, I adore this story so much and I cannot wait to dive into the actual book, and hopefully I will enjoy it just as much. And then the last couple of books that I have were given to me by my family for Christmas. So I have 2 books. It was technically 3 books that my aunt gifted me, as she gave me 2 poetry books and she also gave me another copy of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. And obviously Em had already very kindly gifted me this copy before, so I gave the copy that my aunt gave me to my sister, as she also really enjoyed the film and she would like to read the book. So my sister has a copy of it and so do I. So obviously there is still somebody that book is who's going to enjoy it and hopefully really love it, which is really nice. And then the other 2 books that my aunt got me first one is one that I've wanted for so long, and I'm so glad that I finally have it, and that is a poetry handbook by Mary Oliver. I have wanted this book for literally years. I can't tell you how long I've wanted this book, and if you didn't know, Mary Oliver is probably like my favourite poet of all time. I adore her writing, I relate to it so much. I also see a lot of similarities in our writing styles and kind of the subject matter that she writes about and I also write about, and this is what it says on the tin. It's a handbook about poetry. It's about like reading poetry, about form and all that sort of thing that comes to writing poetry, and I'm really excited to read this and kind of see Mary's process of kind of how she writes her own poems and what she thinks about when she is writing. And yeah, I'm just so excited to read this book. I will definitely have to get to it soon, and I'm so glad to finally have it in my hands. And then the third book that my aunt got me is one that I've already read this year. It's actually the first book that I have finished in 2021, and that is 10 Poems About Horses, which is selected and introduced by Alison Brackenbury. And this is what it says on the tin again. It's 10 poems about horses, and you guys should know that I really like horses. I have my own horse and I love the cover of this book, and I love poetry obviously in general, but I sometimes tend to stay away from like poetry and like novels in general that sometimes relate to animals, or animals are the main thing, because it doesn't interest me much. I know it's kind of strange, but I feel like it has to be done in a certain way, and I very much enjoyed quite a few of the poems in this book. They were done in a very tasteful way, kind of not a cheesy way. I know that kind of sounds strange, but there was a whole variety of poems in here and I really enjoyed it. So if you are looking for some poems about horses, then I definitely recommend picking this up. And then the last two books on this list, my sister very kindly got me. They're both non-fiction and they are kind of both related if you have kind of seen what has been going on social media about these. So the first book that she got me is What a Time to Be Alone, The Slumflower's Guide to Why You Are Already Enough by Chidra Egeru. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing her name wrong. And this is a non-fiction book and it's kind of like a self-discovery kind of book. I've already read this, I've tabbed it quite a lot and I really ended up enjoying this book. It's kind of about self-discovery and feminism and racism and learning to accept and be okay with your solitude, and it was just such a really nice read and I just really enjoyed it. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I'm going to talk about it in a recent reads. And she got me this book because she also got me Women Don't Owe You Pretty by Florence Given, and obviously this has been a very popular book since it came out like spring last year I think, and my sister has already read this and really enjoyed it. But if you are aware, on social media there was a bit of a hoo-ha I guess to do with these two books, because apparently something to do with along the lines of how the author Florence, who wrote this book, took inspiration from this book, from this author, and didn't give her enough credit or something along those lines. I don't know the full lengths and depths of it, but it's something that I definitely kind of want to research a little bit more. So she bought me this book and she said I had to read this one first, and I read it and I really enjoyed it. So now I'm going to read Women Don't Owe You Pretty at some point very soon, and I hope I end up enjoying it just as much. Obviously I want to be aware of kind of the similarities and the themes of these books, but yeah, really enjoyed this one, enjoying that. I'm definitely enjoying or going, hopefully I will enjoy this one as well. And this is also a special edition, so it's got gold edges and this is also signed, which is wonderful. So yes, very much looking forward to reading this and also kind of being aware of the similarities between these novels, between these non-fiction books. So I'm just popping in here before the end of the video because I realised that I had forgotten one of the books in this book haul because it was hidden away in my poetry shelf because I had already read it, and that is Storyteller 100 Poem Letters by Morgan Harper Nichols, and this was very kindly gifted to me by my lovely friend Mary from Mary Among Stories, so thank you so much Mary again for gifting me this book for Christmas. And like I said, I've already read it and tabbed it. I'm not going to talk about my thoughts on it because I will talk about it more in a recent reads video that will be coming up in the next few weeks. But I really enjoy Morgan Harper Nichols. I've been following her on Instagram for years and I really enjoy her poetry, so it's very exciting that Mary got this for me, and I will just say that I really enjoyed it. That's all I'm going to say for now, and you will have to hear more about it when I do my recent reads video. So those are all the books that I have to share with you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done a haul video in a good couple of months, so it's really nice to just have a really super chill video where I can just sit down and talk to you guys about some books. Obviously I've read some of these, I'm currently reading some, and I have quite a few yet to read, and I'm very grateful for everybody who has gifted me some books, and I will leave Em and Kira's channels in the description if you want to go and check them out, because I'm so grateful for them to send some books to me over Christmas, and you should definitely check their channels out because they are absolutely wonderful. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and your thoughts on them. I would love to know as always, and also let me know which books you think I should prioritise, because obviously I have quite a few books here as well as the rest of my TBR, so let me know which ones you think I should get to first and that I should prioritise to read in the next few months. If you like this video then please make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you would like to see more bookish videos from me, then make sure you hit the subscribe button and little bell icon so you'll be noted every time I post a new video. As always, I will leave links to my social media along with the links to my Goodreads in the description down below for you guys. But thank you guys so much for watching, I appreciate you so much, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!